Today we're going to be ranking every single set since Sword and Shield base until the very last, Prismatic Evolutions and Journey together into an investing tier list for 2025. Remember, this is an investing tier list, so sets might be ranked by the price they are going right now. It doesn't mean that Evolving Skies by being a tier under some other set is a worse set, it just means that it's less available for the price that is going right now. By the way guys, I'm giving away this Neo Discovery Umbreon pack to one of my subscribers. The only requirements to enter are like, comment and subscribe. So without further ado, let's start with Sword and Shield base. I might go a bit fast here because there are a lot of sets to rank and I don't want this video to be 40 minutes. So Sword and Shield base, it's pretty expensive right now. It's going for about $350 to $400 per box. I personally wouldn't invest in that product because I don't even like it. I don't like the pack, I don't like the cards inside, and I think it's too expensive and the entry point is too high to buy right now. I think there are better deals right now. So moving on, Rebel Clash. Rebel Clash is the second Sword and Shield set. Honestly, it's pretty expensive too because the print was so short, but again, there are not even chase cards inside, so I wouldn't touch that at all, honestly. It's going for about $250 to $300 per box. I definitely wouldn't buy it at that price. Next, we got Darkness Ablaze. Same here, Darkness Ablaze, it's a pretty weak set. The price point here is better. I'm pretty sure you can grab some for $150 to $160, but still, it's not a great product. If you buy these booster boxes for $200, I think you just do it for collection purposes because the cards inside are pretty weak. Even if it's a Charizard base set, it doesn't really hit, honestly. Next we got Champion's Path, which is also a Charizard base set. Here it gets kind of tricky because we have two big chase cards inside, which are Charizards. So I think this set is not great, but if you find some deals, it might be a good idea because I can see people later on in the following years just going hunting for these two Charizards. Next we got Vivid Voltage. This gets pretty tricky. I get so triggered when people compare Surging Sparks to Vivid Voltage because it's just not true. I understand the similarities with the chase cards, but Vivid Voltage is really worse than Surging Sparks. I wouldn't compare them at all. Same as Champion's Path. I don't think it's a horrible set, honestly. I just think it's a pretty below average set for the era it is at. Like Sword and Shield is so good and Vivid Voltage is nothing crazy. So maybe I would buy some booster boxes if I find them really cheap, but I wouldn't really look at that as a solid investment, honestly. Next we got Shining Fates. Man, it looks like the first half of Sword and Shield was just repeating itself because it was everything Charizard Desperate based and they didn't really do a great job, honestly. Shining Fates, I don't really like it, honestly. There's only one big chase card, the Charizard inside, the shiny Charizard, which honestly to me doesn't even look good, but again, it's in a similar situation as Champion's Path. I don't think it's that bad as Darkness Ablaze, so I might put it in a tier a bit higher, but again, not great, buy only good deals. You can see we have here what I describe as a tier list, to just not say SAV tier, like buy all you can get, invest in a case, which means like 6 booster boxes, or in case of a specialty set, 10 ETVs, invest in some boxes, like if you find something, like you can buy it, of course, just follow your gut, right? But all these sets are not great, but I would buy probably good deals if I find them for cheap, but I would focus on the sets that will be in the higher end of this tier list, for sure. Okay, so Battle Styles. This, I might put it here because, you see, Battle Styles is not a great set, but it's a pretty decent set in the Sword and Shield era. It's better than the sets we've ranked until now, I think, and the booster boxes are pretty okay in price. I'm pretty sure they're in stock in some Pokemon centers still, so you can grab these booster boxes for around $140, $150, $160. It's a pretty decent deal given the current market we are in, that everyone is going crazy and all the products are just jumping in price a lot. I think it's a decent deal. I would definitely buy some boxes of Battle Styles as an investment. I think that's a definitely a decent play. Let's say a good play. So, Chilling Reign. It gets tricky here because Chilling Reign is pretty expensive right now. I'm pretty sure you will have to pay from $250 to $350, depending on where you are located, either Europe or US. It's a pretty expensive booster box, but in my opinion, it's a really good set. So I would put it in invest in a case here because you see, I really focus on good products since I'm willing to hold booster boxes for so many years. So if I think in a really long-term mindset, it makes more sense to pay like twice the price of a bad set to buy Chilling Reign, because I don't see these things as buying a booster box and then just selling it 1 year after because, oh, now everyone is hyped and it cost like 2 times what I paid for. That's not really my play. When I talk about investing, I think about long term. So I think Chilling Reign, even given the price right now, it's a pretty good set, and I would definitely buy like cases of Chilling Reign if I had the capital available or if I find some deals. So, the Jewel in the Crown. Evolving Skies is the best set by far of the whole Sword and Shield era. Prices have gone really crazy. I've seen booster boxes selling for $1,500, which is absolutely insane. When it was $700, I used to rank it as an 8-year investment, same as Chilling Reign it is right now. But now it got really pricey. I think in Europe you can get boxes for like $900 or euros. Still really, really expensive. This is really tricky, but I would say the same as Chilling Reign. Now, I'll put it here and I'll explain why. I'll be brief, but when it was 700, I thought of it as, okay, this is the best set by far we had in a really long time. And I always compare it with Team Up, which is the best Sun and Moon era set, which was super low printed, by the way, and that affected a lot. But Team Up is like $2,500 right now. And Evolving Skies is a far better set than Team Up. So I don't see a reason why Evolving Skies would not be $3,000 in the following years. That said, I understand that it gets really pricey, and I put it in a tier that I say, okay, invest in a case. Well, a case of Evolving Skies right now, what is it gonna cost you? Like 9K, 8K, something like that. $8,000 is crazy. So I understand that this price point might be too high for you to enter. It is for me. I'm not saying it as a disrespectful way by any means, but if you have the capital available and you're willing to buy some Evolving Skies booster boxes or cases, they won't perform bad. They actually will perform really well. And now that we have all these people joining the hobby, for sure they will go for a lot more. Celebrations, I would put it in a tier under. I think with the new 30-year anniversary that will go, I think the sets will release in about a year now. I think we are a year away or some months away of the 30-year anniversary. So usually when we have an anniversary, the last anniversary set used to perform well. I don't know, people get nostalgic and stuff and start opening these celebration sets and generations and stuff. But I don't think it can compete with the best sets we have here. So I think that's a pretty decent tier. I would buy some ETVs for sure. I wouldn't invest it hard like in cases and stuff. So that's a good tier. Fusion Strike. I have to put it here. Fusion Strike is one of my favorite Sword and Shield sets, but now it got really expensive. The thing got crazy real quick, and booster boxes are going for $450. I've seen sold for more than $500 per booster box, so we're talking like $3,000 or $4,000 for a case. I don't think that's the greatest play, honestly. I can see Fusion Strike going for $1,000 a booster box. I can see that happening, but if I had to order, I would put it here. But I think the margin is so thin. Like, I would prefer having probably an Evolving Skies booster box instead of 2 Fusion Strike booster boxes. So I think it's really arguable that you can go on the low end of this tier or the high end of this one. But I would put it in this one because I want to differentiate some of the best Sword and Shield plays, and I don't think Fusion Strikes at $450 or $500 is. So next one we got Brilliant Stars. So Brilliant Stars is going for about 280 in the US and for about 230 euros in Europe. This is a pretty tricky one because I think 230 for Brilliant Stars is a really good entry point, but I also think that 280 is kind of expensive. So I would say, weirdly enough, I think it's a pretty great play in Europe, but it's not that great on the US. I'll put it here because I think the situation is really similar to Chilling Reign. I think Brilliant Stars has some potential inside too. Like I think the cards inside Brilliant Stars will grow in value during the years because the Charizard chase card is really cool, and we got a whole trainer gallery with evolutions and stuff. So I think cards inside have potential too. So I think buying like a case of booster boxes of Brilliant Stars would be actually a great play. Next, we got Astral Radiance. The situation here is pretty similar. Price points with good Sword and Shield sets are pretty similar. Astral Radiance cannot compete with Chilling Reign, but the price difference affects too. Here we have a price gap again because in Europe it's going for about 180 and in the US it's going for about 220 to 230. But I would say the situation is the same as Brilliant Stars. I could compare them because they're pretty similar sets in terms of value, but I would choose Brilliant Stars over Astral Radiance. I think it has more potential. But Astral Radiance is a really good set. I have a lot of booster boxes of Astral Radiance, and I think they're great investments long term. Now, Pokemon Go, I won't get into it. It's a garbage set. I don't really like it. I don't care about it, anything. Like, I don't care what the price point is. It's a really bad set. I would not invest in it. Lost Origin. Lost Origin has exploded in price lately. We've seen booster boxes selling for more than $350. It got really crazy really quick. It was a great play when it was $200, but I would say now the situation is pretty similar than Fusion Strikes. It's a really tough one, and I would arguably put it here or here. I will go with the high end because for the price difference between Fusion Strike and Lost Origin, I would prefer buying Lost Origin booster boxes. In Europe, Lost Origin are still a great deal. I think you can find some booster boxes for like 250, 260. I think those are great deals, honestly. I would buy a lot of booster boxes at that price, but I have my positions of Lost Origin. I entered a lot before, so yep, I think it's still a decent play. Let's move to the next one, which is Silver Tempest. Silver Tempest has almost every time been on the higher end of my tier list for the simple reason it was so cheap. In Europe, you could grab Silver Tempest for 120 until like 3 months ago, so I was always talking like so many good things about this set. Right now it's pushing 200 in Europe and 250 on the US, so the play is different, of course, but I would compare it with Astral Radiance and Brilliant Stars and just let it here. I think with the second half of Sword and Shield, the situation gets pretty linear when you get really good sets, but they are getting expensive, so you have to be cautious there. I still think it's a good play. I think all these booster boxes, by the way, all these 4 booster boxes, I think they will be more than $500, no problem. And actually I could see Fusion Strike and Lost Origin like these higher end sets of Sword and Shield pushing $1,000 someday. So I think you still are really good on that play. Next is Crown Zenith. This might be a bit controversial maybe, but I would put Crown Zenith here. The reason is pretty simple. We've put Crown Zenith in the S tier of all our tier lists lately that we've done in 2024 too. And the reason is because the ETBs were so cheap that you could just grab a lot of them like for $40, $50. This set has been printed to the ground. And even now the price is getting expensive because, well, there's not that much product to go around it. I think this set is kind of forgotten now. It's like in the shadows of all the new drama and new sets that are coming out. And I think that is the perfect opportunity to grab some of these sets that I think in 5 or 10 years would be so desired. Crown Zenith is so fun, so much fun to open. It has a pull in almost every pack, like it's ridiculous. Beautiful gallery. The cards inside are pushing like super high prices right now. The Golden, Giratina, the Algan Palkia, they're going crazy in price too. So I think even at the price point that we are right now, which I would say it's what, $70–80 in the US. I haven't checked in some time. Maybe you correct me there. In Europe, I'm pretty sure you can still grab them for $65–70, $55 maybe if you find a really good deal. I think it's a great set, and I think for the price point you're paying now, it will like your investments will perform better than with these on the tier below. Okay, let's start with Scarlet and Violet now. The Scarlet and Violet era is pretty similar, I would say. The first half was weak, but it's okay. Let's see it. So, Scarlet and Violet base, not my favorite, honestly. I would probably put it here. The reason is pretty simple. Now, all these boxes are about one, like this low-end Scarlet and Violet sets are about 130 to 150 right now. And for me, if you have that money, what I would do is invest instead in Paradox Rift or Obsidian Flame, since I think they are a bit better than base. I don't think it's a bad set. I used to put this on A tier because like I used to put this set here before because it was so cheap. It was ridiculous. Like you could get boxes for $85–90 for more than a year. But now that it got pricier, I prefer to do other plays. So let's move on. Paldi Evolved. Paldi Evolved is kind of crazy because it's pushing $200. And here I have a gap problem because like in the US, you're paying $200 for this booster box, but in Europe, you can get this for $120 or $130. So it's really hard for me to put it here. I know almost all of you are in the US, so let's make it clear. For $200, I would put it here, and for $130, I would put it here. This is that simple. Since I know almost all of you are in the US, let's put it here. I think $200 is pretty expensive. And if I was about to spend $200 in a Paldi Evolved, I would pay $30 on top and buy a Surging Sparks booster box. It's that simple. But let's move on. Obsidian Flames, I would put also here. Pretty simple. I think it's better than Scarlet and Violet. I really don't like Obsidian Flames. I don't like the cards inside, but it's a Charizard themed deck. And what I'm seeing is that new people into the hobby like are joining right now because all of this craziness and these prismatic evolutions and flashy cards, and they will go for the Charizards. So since this is still like 130 to 150 in Europe, you can grab this by 110, by the way. I think it's a little bit better than Scarlet and Violet. I think this is a worse place than buying Paldi at 200. I think Paldi Evolved is a far greater set than Obsidian Flames. But maybe that Caesar and Ninetales and these underrated cards carried with, of course, the flashy Charizards. Who knows? I would say it's between here and here. Let's put it here. Let's be optimistic about the Charizard. 151. Just buy all you can get. It's really expensive. I don't care. The cards perform well. The seal product performs better. If you can grab any 151, it's a good play. Sounds kind of ridiculous, but this is a super nostalgic set. I think it will perform really well in the future. It doesn't even matter that it's expensive. Same as Crown Zenith. I think actually 151 is probably better than Crown Zenith if you want to order this. But yeah, just buy all you can get. It's a great set. Paradox Rift, I'll put it here. Actually, I might put it here. So I think Paradox Rift is better than Obsidian Flames. I think it's worse than Paldi Evolved, but the price difference between these two sets, Paradox Rift and Paldi Evolved, is kind of high right now. So I went here straight away because I talked so good about Paradox Rift. It was $80 for 12 months. Now it's $140. I told you to buy it. What can I say? I mean, it's a really good set. It has a lot of depth. It has a lot of good cards inside, but it lacks that big chase card like the Magikarp in Paldi Evolved, for example. So actually, I think that's the tier it should be. if you were about to spend 140, if you told me, hey, I have 150 or 140, I would go for Paradox Rift, of course, instead of Obsidian Flames. Even the Charizard thing I said before. I think Paradox Rift is a greater set, so yeah. Paldean Fates got pretty expensive, but the set is really good. So you're paying a super high premium now, and Paldean Fates was forgotten for a lot of months, but I think the set is crazy. It's so good. The Bubble Mew performed really well. I always liked that Mew, but I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't expect it to boom that much. Like, it was on some of my underrated cards videos, which you could say I would predict that, but I wouldn't, honestly. I would predict an increase, but not this insane like price jump it did. I know ETBs are getting expensive now in the US. In Europe, they are still pretty cheap, so if I were you, I would take this opportunity instead of going for the flashy things that are coming out now. But yes, it's a really solid play, so I would put it, of course it's between here and here, but let's say low end of investing in a case. I would gladly take a case of Paldean Fates. Okay, let's go for the last ones. Temporal Forces, it's getting really pricey too, but I think we could agree that this list makes sense. Like, it's on the price range of Paradox. It's between Paradox and Paldea Evolved, I would say. Same in terms of pools inside. I think the set value is greater than Paradox Rift. It has more like expensive chase cards inside. I would say it's a bit worse than Paldea Evolved, but the prices align. Like, it's a bit cheaper than Paldea Evolved too, so it makes sense just to leave it there. Twilight Masquerade, I would say same. I think it's better than all these sets. Twilight Masquerade has been joining 151 for some of my last tier list because it was so cheap, but now it's getting kind of expensive too. I would have to think if I would put it here or here, because a really strong chase card usually carries the set, and I think the Greninja is a really strong chase card. It's arguably between these two. I would let you decide. Let's leave it there just because I think it's one step above all the sets we've talked until now. I personally think Twilight Masquerade is a better play than Paldea Evolved. I know there's like this time gap that Paldea Evolved might not get reprinted ever again and might grow up faster in price, but I think Twilight Masquerade on the long run, the Greninja is a far more like desired chase card than the Magikarp. So I think down the road, if we look like 5 years from now, I think Twilight Masquerade will perform better than Paldea Evolved. Okay. Routed Fable, I feel bad. It's not as bad as people say. Like, I think there are some cards inside that are good. It's the only product you can grab for cheap right now, so you could argue that we could put it here because at least in Europe, there are a lot of stores that the only stock left they have is Routed Fable, but that also means that the product is not desired at all. So it's really hard that even we don't print this set ever again. It's so hard that people come back in 5 years and say, oh, let's open some Routed Fable, because there's like no big chase cards inside. So I would arguably, like, I honestly wouldn't buy it. If you find a super great deal, sure, go for it. Why not? If you find an ETB for $25, go for it, whatever. But I don't think it's a really good long-term investment. So let's leave it here, probably. Stellar Crown, let's put it here. Stellar Crown is a decent set. I really don't like the Terrapagos, it's a bit weird. I don't really like that Pokemon, but I guess that doesn't matter a lot. It was the introduction of the Rainbow Borders, which I really like, by the way. But the reason it's there is because it has some starters as illustration rares like the Bulbasaur and Squirtle. I think that cards look great and people really like this themed, like I think they go as a set with the Obsidian Flames ETB promo, if I'm not wrong. And I think that two cards will carry the set away probably. It's like this mid-tier Scarlet and Violet sets, comparable to Temporal Forces, why not? So I think, yeah, if you can grab some boxes for a decent price, why not? Go for it. Searching Sparks. Okay, so Let me explain right now. I've been like talking so good about Surging Sparks for a lot of time. And as I said before, if you consider Pally Evolved can be $200, like 100% of the times I would pay 30 more dollars and buy a Surging Sparks booster box. I know it's super expensive, it's $230. I think in Europe you can grab it for $2, but in the US it's probably pushing $250 now. It's a really expensive booster box, but I think my opinion is that it's better than a lot of Sword and Shield sets too. I've compared to Lost Origin, I've been criticized for that, it's okay, it's like, these are subjective opinions. But if you see that the top 10 cards of this year, 7 of the 10 or something crazy like that are inside Surging Sparks, like, you can get an idea that this set is actually really good, and the total value of the set is so high that I think it's a great play, honestly. I put it here. I have to say that I would personally prefer 151 or Crown Zenith than Surging Sparks at the current market price, but I think Surging Sparks is a better deal than all these sets right here. I know it sounds crazy, and I'm not saying it's a better set than all the sets below. I'm just saying that for the price that you're paying right now, compared like Surging Spark with Lost Origin, that Lost Origin is $100 more right now, I think it's a smarter play to just buy Surging Sparks. That's my opinion. Now, let's talk about these last two. I won't get super into it because every single video on YouTube is talking about it right now. Prismatic Evolutions for the current price, I'll put it here. I would probably buy some ETVs just to keep them sealed. The set should go here by far, if we could get it for retail or even like 20 or 30% over retail. But since it's 4 or 5 times, whatever, like 3-4 times the retail right now, I would invest in some boxes. It's actually here because the set is so good that it has to push like some steps above, but honestly, for the price it is right now, it's kind of super ridiculous. Like, to pay $140 or $150 for an ETV that just released is super ridiculous. If the booster bundles come out and are less expensive and are affordable, of course they should go here or here if you can find these like crazy Target or Walmart deals that you have in the US, whatever it is, but I would put it here because it's just at the price point that is right now, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And Journey Together. I'll put it on the same tier and I'll just explain a bit. Don't pay $300 for a booster box, please. Like, don't pay $250 for a random eBay seller for a booster box. Wait until the set comes out. Or pre-order from a store that already knows their allocations. It's just ridiculous. Like, I wouldn't pay that. That's ridiculous. We don't know about the full set yet, so to say this set is the same price as a Silver Tempest or Surging Sparks or whatever, like, of these booster boxes, just before like knowing everything about the set and just knowing some cards and the booster pack covers and stuff, it is just ridiculous. So I wouldn't go there, honestly. I would put it here. Like, just don't buy it at the current market price. In Europe you can grab it for $180 pre-order, but I wouldn't even do that, honestly. I would wait. At least that stores know the allocations, because they don't right now. In Europe they don't know the allocations, I can tell you. So just wait some months. The set is pretty far away still, so wait. So this will be all my tier list done. I'm pretty proud of it. I think it fits really well what I think the current market is right now. Thank you so much for watching. Take a screenshot, share it with me. I will link below this tier list so you can make your own. Maybe if you want to share it with us, I will read all the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.